on, guys. We will get started with the homework. So I gave you all 12 of these. Remembering that we do sign, number, letter. Okay, when we're multiplying, sign, number, letter. When we're adding and subtracting, like the question you can see just above, it's about families. It's about finding families and adding and subtracting. When you're multiplying, it's multiply the sign, multiply the number, multiply the letter. Okay? So, the first one here, neither of them have any sign, which means they're both plus. So that means the signs are the same. So that means the answer is plus. The numbers is 2 by 4, which is 8. And the letters, there's an X in the first and an X in the second. So that means we have 2 X's. And we write that as X squared. Okay, because it's a leading plus, you can put it in or you can leave it out. It doesn't matter. Okay, plus is in the middle of a question. You know, like just if you look up to the question above, like this plus here, that has to go in. Okay, when it's in the middle, it has to go in. But a plus here, a leading plus, you can decide yourself. Okay? Next one. Again, we have no signs, so that means they're both plus, which means they're the same, which means my answer is going to be a plus. 5 by 2 is 10, and I have a y with the 5 and a y with the 2, so that's y squared because I have 2 y's. Okay, C. Again, we've 2 pluses, which means the signs are the same. So that's plus. 5 by 10 is 50. And then 2 a's is a squared. D. So here we have a minus and a minus. So the signs are the same. So again, it's plus. Numbers is 4 by 2, which is 8. And then the 2 x's is x squared. E, again, we have 2 minuses, which means the signs are the same. So plus 5 by 3 is 15. And 2 p's we write as p squared. Okay, and F there, we have a minus on the first number, or the first term, I should say. And the second one doesn't have a sign, which means it must be plus. So the signs are different. So when the signs are different, the answer is minus. The numbers, 4 sevens are 28, and then 2 q's we write as q squared. Okay, and then back over for question 4. So the first one, this is plus, signs are the same, answer is plus. Numbers, 2 by 3 is 6. Remember, you're multiplying. The letters then, I have an x here, and I have 2 x's here. So that means in total I have 3 x's, which I write as x to the power of 3. Second one, so this is a plus and this is a plus, which means my answer is plus. Signs are the same, so the answer is plus. 50 multiplied by 2 is 100. And then the letters, I have M here and I have 2 M's over here. So in total, I have 3 M's, or M to the power of 3. C, in the first bracket, there's a minus. The second one doesn't have a sign, so that means it's plus. Different signs give me a minus answer. 2 multiplied by 4 is 8. And then in total there I have 3 A's, so that's A to the power of 3. D, I have a minus in the first bracket and a minus in the second bracket. So the signs are the same. which means my answer is plus. Numbers, 4 by 3 is 12. And I have 1y in the first bracket, 2 in the second, so that makes 3 in total. Y to the power of 3. E, we have a minus here and a plus here, so signs are different. My answer is minus. 3 by 2 is 6, and I have 3 q's, so q to the power of 3. And the last one, so I have a minus here and a minus here, which means the signs are the same, so my answer is plus. 10 by 12 is 120, and then I have a y and 2 more y's, so I have 3 y's in total, so that's y to the power of 3. Okay. Okay, so I'll just pop in my, so Thursday the 25th of March, or Friday the 26th of March. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is, again, we're multiplying, but we're taking it on another step. So I'm just going to constantly make this a little bit more difficult. So multiplying terms by brackets 1 is what we're going to call this. Just going to, where's my, okay. So here we go. Now we actually did a bit of this when we were doing patterns, when we were doing nth term of patterns. So you might recognize a little bit of this. Okay. So the question says, remove the brackets and simplify. Okay. So we remember that simplify means identify and combine families. Okay, so that's what simplify means. It means if after you do the removing the brackets bit, if there are any terms from the same family, that you have to combine them. Okay, now the remove the brackets part, okay, sometimes instead of that they use the word expand. Okay, so expand is a term that means remove the brackets or multiply to remove the brackets. Okay, something like that. Multiply to remove the brackets. Okay, so let's do the first one. So the first one says 2 bracket x plus 4. Okay, so we know that these brackets mean multiply. Okay, so that says 2 multiplied by x plus 4. So what that means is it's a kind of tidy way of telling you to do 2 multiplications. They want you to take the 2 and they want you to multiply it by the x, and then they want you to multiply it by the 4. So they want you to multiply it by both parts of the bracket. Okay, so let's do. So the first multiplication is where we multiply 2 by x. Yeah? And then we have a plus in here, so I'm going to write that down. And the second bit they want us to do is they want to multiply the 2 by the 4. Okay, so a couple of things, I suppose. The 2 out in front here doesn't have a sign, so that means it's a plus. Okay, so you need to make sure that in both cases down here we're dealing with a plus 2, right, which we are. Okay, plus 2, plus 2. Yeah? Okay, so then you have two separate sums to do, essentially. So we'll do this one first. Okay, so I said when you're multiplying brackets like this, you do sign, number, letter. Okay, so we know that the 2 is a plus, we just talked about that, and the x also doesn't have a sign, so that's a plus. So that means the signs are the same, so the answer is plus. Next we do the numbers. Now, there seems to be a number missing on the x, but we know what to do when there's a missing number. It means there's an invisible 1. So we multiply 2 by 1 to get 2. And then there's only one letter because the 2 doesn't have a letter, so that means it's x. Okay, and that's that bit done. So now we move on and we do this multiplication. Okay, so sign, number, letter. So the 2 is a plus. The 4 is also a plus, which means the signs are the same. So plus. The numbers are 2 by 4, which is 8. And there are no letters. So we're done. So now I have removed the brackets, or I have expanded. And the next thing we have to do is simplify if it's possible. Okay, but if you look at what we have here, we have something from the x family, and then we have a constant. So they can't be combined because they're not part of the same family. So that means I'm finished. The answer is 2x plus 8. Okay, remember you don't need to write the leading x or the leading plus, but you do need to write the middle one. So there's my answer. 2x plus 8. Okay? Right, we'll do another one. So the second one says 3 bracket 4a minus 3. Okay, so again, that means there's two multiplications there. They want us to multiply the 3 by the 4a, and then they want us to do a second multiplication where we multiply the 3 by the minus 3. Okay, so the number on the outside has to get multiplied by both, so there's going to be two multiplications. Okay, so I'll do the green one first because that's the first one. So that's 3 bracket 4a. 3 multiplied by 4a, that's the first multiplication. Okay, now the sign on this 3, given there's no sign, means it has to be a plus. Okay, because remember, I don't need the plus here because it's leading, but I do need it in the middle. Okay, so when I do the second multiplication, the red one, I'm multiplying a plus 3 by a minus 3. Yeah? Okay, so let's do the green multiplication first. Remember, sign, number, letter. So the sign on the 3 is plus, the sign on the 4 is also plus, which means the signs are the same. So the answer is going to be plus. Numbers, 3 by 4 is 12, and then there's only one letter there, so it's just A. I just realized I did this in red. Okay. So the second multiplication then, we have a plus and a minus, so the signs are different, which means my answer is going to be minus. Sign, number, letter, so the numbers are 3 by 3, which is 9, and there are no letters. Okay, so I've expanded. So now let's see if there's anything to simplify. So this is the A family, and this is from the constant family, so no. I don't need to write my leading plus, so that's just 12a minus 9. And that's your answer. Yeah? Okay, so we'll try that last one just because it's like long. Okay, so it is, I'm just going to write it out and then I'll move the board. So 2 times x plus y minus 1 minus 4 times 2x plus 2y plus 1. Okay? So, right. I have this 2, which is attached to the bracket. So that means I'm going to have to do 3 multiplications. I'm going to have to multiply it here. I'm going to have to multiply it here. And I'm going to have to multiply it here. Okay, so 3 multiplications. So I'm going to write them out. So the 2 doesn't have a sign, which means it's a plus. So I have plus 2 that I'm going to multiply with x. I have the plus 2 that I'm going to multiply with the y. And I have plus 2 that I'm going to multiply with the minus 1. Yeah, 3 multiplications. Okay, then we have a second. So we have minus 4, which is also attached to a bracket. And I'm going to have to multiply it by the first part of the bracket, the second part of the bracket, and the third part of the bracket. Okay, so let's write those multiplications out. So I have minus 4, which is going to be multiplied with the 2x. I have the minus 4, which is going to be multiplied by the, why didn't I put the plus in? Sorry. By the plus 2y. And then I have minus 4, which is going to be multiplied by plus 1. Yeah? Okay. So it turns out there are 6 multiplications in that question. 3 connected with the plus 2 in the first bracket and 3 connected with the minus 4 and the second bracket. Okay, so now let's look at all our multiplications, and remember all the time you're thinking sign, number, letter. Okay, so in the first multiplication I have a plus 2 and I have no sign on the x, which means it's also a plus. So the signs are the same, so I put down plus. The numbers. Now, there's a 2 outside the bracket, but there's a missing number inside, which means we have an invisible 1. 2 times 1 is 2, and then the only letter there is x. Okay, so that's the first one done. Moving on to the second one, I have a plus here and a plus here, which means the signs are the same. So my answer is plus. Next is numbers. I'm missing a number, so that means there's an invisible 1. 2 times 1 is 2, and then there's only one letter, which is just the y. Next, I have I have a plus and a minus. Plus and a minus is minus. When the signs are different, you get minus. 2 times 1 is 2, and then there are no letters. So all I could do there was sign number. Okay, so moving on to the next one. I have a minus here and a missing sign here, which means it must be a plus. So different signs give me minus. Numbers, 4 by 2 is 8, and then there's only one letter, so we can just write that down. Next, I have a minus and a plus, so the signs are different. different signs give me a minus. 4 by 2 then is 8, and just one letter, which is Y. The last one, I have minus by plus. So different signs again give me a minus. 4 times 1 is 4, and there are no letters. So I've expanded the brackets. Next thing I need to do is see if there's any matching families. Now, I think there are. Okay, so I've got 2 things from the X family. I have 2 things from the Y family. And then I have 2 things from the constant family. Right? So, for the X family in yellow, the sum we're doing is 2 minus 8. Okay, the 2 from here and the minus 8 from here. So that's what goes into your calculator, 2 minus 8. 2 minus 8 is minus 6. And then don't forget to put back on kind of the family name, which was the X's. Okay? Next is the Y family, which I've coloured in green. So the sum for the green is 2 from here. And then again, minus 8 from here. 2 minus 8 is minus 6. And then put back in the family name. Okay, and then in blue, we are doing minus 2 minus 4, which is minus 6. Okay, and there isn't a letter to identify that family. They are just constants. So you're done. Minus 6x minus 6y minus 6. And they can't be combined any further because they're all from different families. Okay, now that is about as hard as it gets. Okay, so feel free to spend whatever's left of the hour doing a couple of the other ones. Okay, I left out 2 of them there. Feel free to practice them. There's also other ones down below. Okay? Right, so let's go back in here. Black, and take the balls off. Okay, so I'm not going to give you any homework for the Easter break. So have a really, really nice Easter break, and hopefully, fingers crossed, all going well, we will see you in class on Monday the 12th. Thanks guys, enjoy the break.